Tessa Thompson arrives home early from a work conference in Atlanta, eager to surprise her husband, Sebastian Stan, whom she has adored and supported for 3 years. Their life in Asheville appears charming from the outside. A modern home, a respectable career, and a seemingly loving marriage. But when Tessa notices Sebastian's blazer tossed carelessly over the dining room chair, she finds a hotel key card inside. The receipt tucked next to it reveals champagne and strawberries for two. Her heart sinks. Suspicion becomes certainty when she logs into Sebastian's computer and discovers months of intimate messages with Sydney Sweeney, a woman he's been secretly seeing for nearly 8 months. Betrayal cuts through her like a blade. But instead of breaking, Tessa goes silent, still, and strategic. As Tessa processes the betrayal, she remembers the one moment she should have questioned everything: the prenup. 2 weeks before their wedding, Sebastian pressured her into signing an agreement that would give her nothing if they divorced. At the time, she trusted him, believed in forever, and feared embarrassment, so she signed. Sebastian had insisted it was just a formality, a request from his family. But now, it sits like a trap she walked into willingly. Tessa realizes that Sebastian not only betrayed her heart, he prepared the battlefield long before the fight began. Now she must learn to fight on different terms, smarter, sharper, and with patience. Tessa collects evidence with steady composure, logging photos, bank statements, and withdrawal records. She learns that Sebastian has not only been unfaithful, he's used their joint savings to fund Sydney Sweeney's luxury tastes. Designer bags, weekend trips, and hotel suites, all while telling Tessa they needed to budget. The cruelty burns. She meets with Gemma Chan, a brilliant divorce attorney in Charlotte, who listens carefully. Gemma confirms the prenup heavily favors Sebastian, but his financial misconduct and adultery may be the key to breaking it. The battle must be built patiently. Tessa must remain silent and unseen until the strike. To strengthen her case, Gemma introduces Michelle Rodriguez, a private investigator with the stoic confidence of someone who has seen too many betrayals. Michelle does not waste words. She collects photographic proof, timestamps, restaurant receipts, and video footage of Sebastian and Sydney wrapped around each other in hotel lobbies and parking lots. Each captured moment deepens Tessa's resolve. She watches Sebastian sleep at night, unaware of the storm forming around him. She no longer sees a husband, but a man who underestimated her. She stops seeking closure. She begins designing consequences. One afternoon at her office, Tessa receives a call from a law firm in San Francisco. The executor explains that Angela Bassett, her estranged aunt, has passed away, leaving Tessa as her sole heir. The estate is valued at $78 million. Angela's letter expresses empathy and foresight. She once had a husband like Sebastian, who dimmed her light. Angela's words insist that Tessa leave the marriage and reclaim her life. The inheritance is not just wealth, it is liberation. Tessa cries, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming clarity of the path forward. Sebastian will never see this coming. Tessa quietly opens new bank accounts and transfers documents into a secure safe deposit box. She meets with financial advisors in Charlotte and lays out her goals: protect her money, leave her marriage, and build something meaningful. She rents a private luxury apartment in Asheville, paid fully in advance and under her maiden name. Then she waits for Sebastian to travel on a legitimate business trip. In one day, she moves out. The house remains perfectly arranged, the kitchen spotless, the note gentle. The silence is the first blow. Monday morning, Sebastian receives divorce papers at his corporate office, served in front of his colleagues. His shock is near theatrical. He calls Tessa repeatedly, demanding explanations, invoking the prenup, threatening her future. Tessa does not respond. Gemma handles all communication with his lawyer, exposing proof of adultery and financial misuse. The prenup begins to crack. Reputation damage begins. Sebastian's confident facade fractures. Meanwhile, Tessa watches from her apartment window, wrapped in quiet, steady triumph. Sebastian begins to panic, but panic can't rewind time. Sebastian's attempts turn desperate, begging voicemails, rage texts, accusations, emotional guilt. He storms to Tessa's mother's home, but he no longer knows where Tessa lives. His loss of control terrifies him more than the divorce. When he tries to twist the public narrative, Gemma responds with legal fire, restraining order granted. The more Sebastian fights, the more evidence piles up against him. Meanwhile, Sydney Sweeney becomes impatient and demanding. The fantasy romance wilts when the financial faucet slows. Sebastian is cornered, and the walls he built now close in on him. During legal discovery, another secret emerges. Sebastian has been quietly embezzling small amounts from his company, enough to be criminal. The company forces his resignation. Sydney Sweeney leaves him publicly, in a scene recorded by restaurant diners that spreads across town like wildfire. Sebastian returns to Asheville, humiliated, jobless, and living with his parents. He becomes the subject of whispers in grocery stores and quiet judgment in church pews. Meanwhile, Tessa moves forward untouched, poised, elegant, and resolute. The divorce finalizes. Tessa takes nothing from Sebastian and requires a mutual lifetime confidentiality agreement with a $10 million penalty if he speaks her name publicly. The irony is flawless. She did not need to drain him. He destroyed himself. Tessa establishes the Bassett Foundation, a women's empowerment organization providing legal support, safe housing, and financial independence for women escaping controlling marriages. The first office opens in Asheville, a beacon of quiet strength. Tessa's life expands in color, art, friendships, autonomy, freedom. She is no longer surviving. She is thriving. Months later, Tessa stands on her apartment balcony overlooking Asheville's rolling green mountains, her heart full, her purpose steady. She thinks briefly of Sebastian, not with longing, nor hatred, but with detachment. He lives in the shadows of his choices now. She lives in the brilliance of her own rebirth. Her story is not about revenge. It is about returning to herself. And the world can feel it. Tessa did not just leave. She won.